Welcome to Positive Energy with Crystals. My name's Hillary, and yes, this video is a week late, but I had to show you everything I got on my trip. I couldn't, well, my trip plus right before my trip, I couldn't hold that in any longer. It's been a few days since I recorded that video, and I'm still a little hyper from it. I still haven't put everything away because I know as soon as I touch everything, I'll get hyper again, and, well, you know. So, this is a positive energy journal video, and I cannot believe I have gotten so many new subscribers lately. Thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate it so much. Thank you to everybody that shared my channel. I appreciate you so much too. So, because we had so many, I want to let you know this is an ongoing series for this year, and there is a video, the link will be in the description for the full explanation, but pretty much I needed something to help me stay positive sometimes, and Positive Energy Journal was my way, and I love it. Now, this month's theme was power. I also, like I've said, well, in that last week's video, I spent 2 weeks in Colorado visiting family. I did not bring my journal. I thought I was at the point where, I was flying. I needed to condense stuff and not bring a bunch of stuff that I wasn't going to use, which there were a few things that I could have left at home. And this is one of the things I did leave at home because I thought it would kind of be just in the way and I wouldn't have time for it. And I regret that. I did fill it out once I got back home. I did take notes while I was gone. But like I've talked about before, being able to flip through the other entries, the other months, makes such a huge difference for me. Seeing the colors, the stickers, the things that I've taped in, the prompts, the prompt I didn't do, just seeing everything, it makes a big difference to me, and I didn't realize how big of a difference that makes until I didn't bring it with me on this trip. So, from now on, it'll come with me. I'm on trips, on everything. This made such a big difference when I got home. I had some of it filled out, and I started adding, like, the green. The green is what was on the trip, and then the pink. Okay, so the orange was before I left. Green is what I added after I got back. Pink is then starting from when I got home, and there's some gray that's this past week, last few days. Red was before I left too. So I did add it, but it makes such a big difference having it with me. So I will, from now on, be brief. Even if I don't add, couldn't add the other stickers. There are a few stickers that I added when I first set it up, and then in the last, as I was finishing up the month, I added it. Just being able to write in it and look through the other prompts made a huge difference. I'm going to do some readjusting, change the battery, and I will be right back. Alright. This is exciting. So like I said, the theme for June 2026 was power. I'll get into the prompts for that later. Season, summer, very much summer. I felt very summery this month. It was very warm. Now the message, like, I've mostly done like divination type messages. I know the very first one I did, I put the cards Selena sent me, and it wasn't that I drew them, but I just put them in there. And then I've done lots of charms. I've used my charms quite a bit. The Oracle decks. I did the Elemental Divination book. More charms. Another Oracle deck. This month, I went a little different. It was even before we lost our dog. It's probably been a year or two ago that I found this in a book. It's a romance book that I was reading, and I took a screenshot of it because the message was so good. And I was going through my phone, making room, so I had room to take pictures while I was in Colorado. And I found this message, and it had to have been 2 or 3 years ago that I read this book. I don't remember the book. I wish I did, because I'd share it with you, and give the author credit, but I honestly don't. All I did was take a screenshot. But going through that, when I was going through the pictures, I found that message, and it hit hard. And I decided I needed to put it in here. Grief is like a box with a ball inside it. Inside the box is a button, and when the ball hits the button, you feel the pain of your loss. At first, the ball is huge, and it hits the button all the time. Over time, the ball shrinks, and it doesn't hit the button as often. But every now and then, it still manages to hit the button, and it still hurts. Finding that was perfect timing. And like I've said before, I try not to talk about Clover so much, but the ball is starting to get smaller. And I knew going to Colorado would bring some stuff up, because that's where we got her. And that's where a lot of our memories are with her, of her being goofy and stuff. So that was a great message to have for June. Okay, in my pocket, I have in my nope, it's coming up. I'll show more exactly what I brought on the trip and how I used it. But in my pocket for the whole trip, I had amethyst, black tourmaline, which I always have, blue kyanite I kept from that was my main crystal, right? Yeah, so I kept it, and glad I did. For June, my crystal was smoky quartz. Amazing. Very, very much appreciated having such a grounding crystal with me the entire trip. I haven't done my notes for the smoky quartz video, but it's probably going to be a couple weeks before I have that video ready, just because there's so much I need to organize my thoughts on smoky quartz, because it was great. I also had my Lucky Lotus Stone, which I'm going to tell some stories in next week's video. Next week's video is going to be the crystals and witchy stuff, magical stuff that I brought with me, what I used, and all that. And I have a story to tell about that. I also had petrified wood on me all the time, and I explain it more in next week's video. Same with the turquoise. But it was there. I was doing a lot to help my dad during that trip, and I needed the support of the ancestors and his parents and stuff like that. So that's what those were there for. To go outside, I switched. Usually I the C and then here, so things got switched up. I don't know why I put hear first and then see. So, what I heard was the birds, owls, and then when I got home, thunder and rain. What I saw, turtles, lots of turtles crossing the road, eagle, hawks, started seeing mushrooms, dirt. Oh, when I was in Colorado, dirt, dust, brown. But I got to see the mountains too. It was so dry while I was in Colorado. And then when I got home, so much water. And I don't know why I crammed it in there when I could have put it right here. But there's a Canadian goose family living on the pond at the property where we are. And it's there's just one baby, but it was a little tiny thing when I left for Colorado, and it's gotten pretty big since then. And it's fun to see the fuzzy little baby. What I felt, hot and humid. That was before we left, or before I left. Wet feet from the rain puddles. Every time I would go to water my plants or something, I was always stepping in. It's more of a rain puddle isn't the word. It's more of a rain pond. And then while I was in Colorado, it felt dry and hot. And then I came home and it was humid again. Smell, gross mud, because there was so much just stagnant water. And then when I was in Colorado, I don't know if you've ever, where it smells hot, not just like hot, just hot weather outside. And then when I got home, rain. Gratitude, our new neighbor that I didn't like left. Seeing family and friends during Colorado trip. My dad's new primary care. Getting my dad into my old eye doctor. I loved my eye doctor in Colorado. I miss them so much. If it wasn't such a pain to still see them, I'd make the trip every year to go. But that's just, for an eye appointment, that's too much. Friends letting me borrow their car because I flew. They let me borrow their car for the whole trip. Aunt Hillary squishes. I do this thing where I hug my nieces and nephews really tight, and then we have to do a selfie. So I call them squish selfies. And Aunt Hillary squishes. My supportive husband for helping me get this trip going, help pay for it, all the stuff. There's no way I could have done this trip. I would have rather done it with him, but with his support, I was able to do it on my own. Crystals. They make me so happy. Whoever made the flights home possible in the storms. I'll talk more about that in next week's video. I thought I wasn't going to make it home the night I was going to make it home. And there were others involved. There was no way everything lined up. I tell the story. I wish I should have done that video and then this one. But anyway, there were too many things that aligned just for in the next video, I see my lucky lotus stone had a big part to do with it, but there's others involved, whether it's ancestors, guardian angels, whoever help me get home. But that's next week's story. Being home. So see, I've gone pink. Husband's hugs. I missed those a lot when I was gone. Pepper plants doing great. I have some Pueblo chilies that I just went outside to look at them. One is not doing, I don't know when to, I don't want to harvest them too soon, but I also don't want to wait too long. And there's one, the very first one is looking a little rotten, so I may have to pull it off. I'm bummed about it, but I might, harvest it, and it'll be the good one to cut open to see what the inside looks like. So, but I've also got Anaheim's. The bell pepper plant has got a bunch of flowers. I'm so excited and so happy, and I can't wait to make green chili with my Pueblo chilies that I grew myself. Also under gratitude is stickers and color pins and markers. And then crafts. That was because I was so happy to be back in my positive energy journal. And you can see I added this pretty sticker. I think it's a poppy. And the little home. And I had cut Oklahoma off of another sticker. And I decided I didn't need to be in here because this trip really made me realize too that I love Oklahoma. Deep inside, I'm from Colorado, but Oklahoma's my home now. So I'm glad to be back in Oklahoma where it's green. The whole colorful Colorado thing, it's a lie. It's all brown. I know it's supposed to be for the mountains, but Oklahoma is... I definitely feel better here. Alright, so memories. We had our 21st wedding anniversary. I had a baking day. Then I borrowed somebody's kitchen and I made way too many biscuits. But I have some biscuits, homemade biscuits in the freezer that I keep forgetting about, and I'm very happy to have. In my Colorado trip, all the memories I had from it. So family and friend time. We watched mini midget car racing, kids racing. That was so adorable. I love that. We went to motocross. That was different. I lost air hockey to my niece, but she's 9, and to be honest, her parents own the shop, and she gets to play air hockey nonstop. So I don't get to practice. She has a signature move. I can't beat that. I found some green chili dip mix. I was really excited about it. It's okay, not the same as regular green chili. I went crystal and witchy shopping while I was there. 13 dogs. So my niece, the one that beat me at air hockey, made me list all the dogs that I came into contact with. She wanted to make sure I had enough dog time, and there were 13 dogs on my trip that I stayed with. There was a huge storm when the plane was supposed to leave, and then my Dallas flight delayed. I'll tell that's that story for the Lucky Lodestone story. And then my mechanic gnome that I shared in the last video. So the magic for the month. So the first of the month, which today's the 1st of July, I need to do my first of the month stuff today. I did simmer pot for protection and prosperity. I'm not going to do a simmer pot this month. It is too friggin' hot. Even a little candle, I don't want it heating up the camper. I will do, I don't know, something else. And then I did my cinnamon stick over the doorway. Crystal Eyes had their 1st year anniversary, and I bought some new pieces, and I showed that last week. The Rock Shop, I got new crystals, cigar box, and an amazing piece of petrified wood that was in last week's. Kaleidoscope store is more witchy. I bought a bunch of stuff there that was in last week's video. Ancestor Altar book, also in last week's video. My new gnome got placed. Showed him in last week's video. And then when I got home, there was a dancing light caught on our doorbell camera. Camera. And that had to be some sort of magic. Okay. Oh, and then for the doodle for the month, it was a sun. But as you can see, I thought I was going to do more doodling. And I really haven't. I threw that in last night when I realized I hadn't done any doodling. And then I got more stickers. So the theme for July was power, like I said. So we're supposed to list what my powers are. And I only came up, well, I guess I came up with a few. Talking about crystals. And then you're supposed to say what do you do with those powers? And for talking about crystals, it's talk about crystals. Baking and cooking is one of my powers. I like to experiment with camper, small space cooking. Well, I don't really like doing that, but I've gotten pretty good at it. And grilling, and then bake and cook for family and friends. And calmly listen, and I listen to others vent. I used to do that a lot when I worked at a doctor's office. Sometimes people just called, they're upset, and all you had to do is listen to them, and then they'd calm down, and they just needed to vent. And I'm really good at listening while people vent. Organizing and problem solving. I help family and plan trips. So that's what my powers are. So that was June 2026. Now, as you can see by my washi tape and my gnome stickers, we're July. My cute little patriotic gnomes. So for July, the theme is sparkle. And the doodle is going to be a star. We're going to do our normal prompts, so message. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for my message this month. You know, last month, I think I was a week into the month before I figured out what message to do. So message doesn't have to be at the beginning of the month. It can whenever I feel like putting the message or getting the message is when it happens. What's in my pocket right now, it's of course amethyst and black tourmaline, and for July I'm carrying zebra jasper. And then of course we're doing gratitude, memories, magic, go outside, say what I see, hear, feel, and smell. And then we go to our prompts. The first one for the month is, when you're feeling down, what brings back your sparkle? What lifts you up? And then the second one, what do you do to help bring other people's sparkle out? I thought that was a good one too. So that's what's going on for July. And like I said, to all my new subscribers, go check out that first video. It explains the positive energy journal, and if you participate, use hashtag positive energy journal, tag me in it and let me know that you're doing it. And I love it. It's helped me so much, and this trip, going on this 2-week trip without it, made me really realize what a big part of my mental health this helps. So I'm sending you lots of positive energy, and I will see you next time.